Hey, how's it going? This is your daily tweet talk for January 20th, 2026. What kind of tree fits in your hand? A palm tree. We've reached a new chapter of jokes, I guess. I just got back from Marty Supreme, and surprisingly, my new favorite movie of the year. I won't talk too much about the movie in particular, because you can just read my Letterboxd review. I don't do movie vlogs anymore. I don't do videos talking about my thoughts on movies anymore. But I do want to talk about my thoughts on the directors, the Safdie brothers. The Safdies. Who, you would think between the two famous director brothers that broke up in the past couple years, in the past decade or so, that the one making sapphic movies would be one of the Safdies, but it's actually one of the Coens. I just thought that was interesting. But yes, they did break up. So this was. I immediately thought Coen when I said they broke up. Which one was it? Josh? It was Josh, because Benny is the famous one. Benny is the one who's like an actor who's in things. They were in Licorice Pizza. They produced The Curse and were in that. I haven't seen it yet, but I hear good things. And they were in Good Time, which was like their first. Well, I was just thinking of their movies in terms of notoriety and like career, like points of their career that they're in, as like Damien Chazelle's filmography, which I've talked about before. And they still haven't made anything since Babylon. And, okay. You have Guy and Madeline on the Park Bench, sort of underground indie thing, introduced them to the scene. Same thing with Daddy Longlegs. I think they had other films before that, maybe, I'm not sure. Good Time, starting to work with, established actors. Same thing with Whiplash. La La Land and Uncut Gems is probably the least similar. I mean, all I can think is it's like their biggest and most well-known movies to date at that point, and still. And then they broke up, but you can say, not Running Man. What's it called? What's the Rock movie? Smashing Machine. Running Man, Smashing Machine. And Smashing Machine and First Man. Just like very bog standard biopics. I can't say that. I haven't seen either of them. But that's what it seems like. Then again, Marty Supreme I also thought would be kind of a standard. It looked more entertaining than Smashing Machine, but I thought it would be a pretty standard, like, not exactly biopic, but it ended up being, well, I'm not. I'll say it's a lot like Uncut Gems, which I actually really liked, and it's maybe their most insane movie yet out of the two of them, which is why it's like Babylon. I don't know if I would even think to make the comparison, but I saw one other person compared to Babylon, and I was like, yeah, it does kind of have Babylon energy of just like going this huge production now that they can, and it's just like full steam ahead into insanity. And I loved it for that, just like I loved Babylon, but I thought it had less flaws than Babylon, and I'm not going to talk about Marty Supreme. Okay. Read my Letterboxd review if you're curious. But, so, okay. I'm starting to not really like Benny Safdie. I think they're a really talented actor and probably a really talented director. I don't think it's fair to say that, Josh was the talented one just because Marty Supreme looks so much better than the Smashing Machine. I'm sure Smashing Machine's a really good, competent biopic. It's not that, they were stuck with The Rock, so it's going to be pretty standard. The Rock's performance looked like serviceable to me from what I've seen. Nothing really to write home about, honestly. Unlike Timothée Chalamet as Marty Supreme, they became Marty Supreme. I shouldn't be saying this about a movie I haven't seen. I haven't seen The Smashing Machine. But yeah, I don't know. They were so bad as the villain in Happy Gilmore 2. I feel like they're being cast in stuff where they're not really like appropriate.